Okay, so yesterday we did make a video talking about ANDREI KUZMENKO, Vancouver Canucks forward who is in the doghouse, and the idea that other teams were calling Vancouver about this player. We had discussed the idea of a Kuzmenko trade and how this would or would not be appropriate for the development of the player and the progression of the team. It's a big thing. You can go ahead and watch our video yesterday if you wanted to hear my thoughts about that. However, in today's video, we are instead going over to some of the responses. Because, via an Ian McIntyre article on Sportsnet earlier this morning, you had yourselves what was Canucks president Jim Rutherford going out there and going to bat for Kuzi. In the same vein, there was an article published by Adam Kierszenblat on the Hockey News earlier today as well, going over another Vancouver Canucks forward and a more positive update in regards to him. NILS HOGLANDER, and his relationship with Rick Tocchet. We're going to use this video today as an opportunity to talk about both Kuzi and Huggy, and, oh no, not Huggy, we're not going to call him that because Hughes is Huggy, right. Hoggy, we'll say, for Hoglander. It's different enough, right? We're going to talk about these guys, talk about their progressions, talk about what had happened this season, starting out with NILS HOGLANDER, because, hey, I know you're here for the Kuzmenko talk, let's do the other one so the watch time on this video gets pushed up. Ha ha ha, that's how you survive as a YouTuber in this business, baby. Let's head over onto Adam's article on the Hockey News. I'm trusting him now. NILS HOGLANDER's path to Rick Tocchet's top 6. After a tough start to the season, the Canucks winger has earned the trust of his head coach and a spot in the team's top 6. The article opens up by talking about how NILS HOGLANDER had started out the season playing under 10 minutes a game and he was in the press box, and how he's worked himself up to the second line with the Vancouver Canucks, playing with Brock Boeser and JT Miller. As Rick Tocchet explains, NILS HOGLANDER's recent strong play has helped build the level of trust to the point where he gets more ice time and a shot on the team's second line. It's the coach-player relationship, said Tocchet. I know if I can trust Hoggy, he's gonna play, and I'm trusting him now. He's making the right play. If you watch him near the end of the shift, he's at the blue line. The puck goes deep, and he gets off. Maybe earlier in the season, he would try a spinorama, or he wouldn't get it in deep and try a high-risk play. That's the coach's relationship with a player, that trust. If I can trust him, he's going to get more minutes. So hopefully we can continue on that relationship. I can trust him, and he continues to meet me, I'll say, at the 50-yard line. We're meeting in the middle, and I still want him to be creative. I mean, I don't want him not to. I don't want him just to dump pucks in. I've said that if there's a chance that go. But the game management part of his game, it always has to be on high alert. Now, I don't know what exactly the point is at the end of this quote. I'm not sure if it's just a mistranslation, or not a mistranslation, but a misquote. But, yeah, it gives a pretty concrete idea as to what Rick Tocchet is expecting out of Hoglander. He's got to make the right plays, and while making the right plays, he's allowed to be creative, just not at the expense of making the right play. Sometimes if you try a fancy spinorama or a cool deke or whatever, and it results in a turnover, all of a sudden you are the last man back, you're dead tired, you just got wiped out onto the ice, and it's an odd man rush for the opposing team the other way. Those are the types of situations that Rick Tocchet would very much prefer not to have. And for NILS HOGLANDER to build up that trust to the point that Tocchet can see his value and say, yeah, you're playing the right way, here's some time with Miller and Boeser, it's been very rewarding for everybody involved. Tocchet is getting better results out of his players because Hoglander is better than Phil DiGiuseppe. I don't know if you realize this, but yeah. Hoglander is showing himself off better, and Boeser and Miller are getting better line mates. So good on this relationship for unfolding the way it has. Rick Tocchet then goes out there and talks about what exactly it is about Hoglander's game that makes him so good with this second line. I think Hoglander's forecheck ability is really helping Miller and Boeser. He's a dog-on-the-bone type of player, but more than that, I mean, obviously his defensive game has gotten better. He's still striving to be better. I had him out there the last couple of minutes of the period, but his puck protection has been the best I've seen since I've been here. I didn't know Hoggy much until this year. I would say the last week or two when he has the puck, his puck protection has been really good. If you watch him, he really dials in, and he holds on to pucks. He's not losing pucks like he did early in the season, and I think that's a big part of his game for a small guy like that to hold pucks in. I'm not comparing him to Marty St. Louis, but I will compare his last couple of weeks. He's protecting the puck as a small guy and coming out of the hole like Marty used to do all the time. So now it is sustainable, but can he do it all the time? That's the next thing. But for me, that's what he's really worked on, especially with the Twins. They've really helped him on the puck protection part of the game. Oh, baby, that is beautiful. Listen to that. That is a symphony to my ears. Henrik and Daniel Sedin working out with NILS HOGLANDER what it means to be able to protect the puck properly along the boards and in the offensive zone at the NHL level. That is what we want. 2 Hall of Famers going out there and giving this guy guidance, and they're all Swedish, so they have no communication problems, most likely. That is great. The article then finishes off by talking about some quotes from Hoglander. He says that his goals, he's just wanting to be more comfortable in some positions out there, like in the zone, on the walls, and winning those battles in the D zone, to be comfortable with stuff like that. I'll leave a link in the description to this article by Adam Kierszenblat if you want to read more about Hoglander and Tocchet. But now, let's go over onto the main meat and potatoes. This is Ian McIntyre's piece on ANDREI KUZMENKO that was also published earlier today. The Canucks and Rutherford will continue to try to help the struggling ANDREI KUZMENKO. Watch the video yesterday if you need to get the scoop as to what's going on, but Jim Rutherford went out there and said this about Kuzi. I'm concerned only to the point that now he's feeling the pressure. And when you feel the pressure and you start pushing, squeezing the stick harder and passing when you should be shooting and vice versa, you get a little bit concerned. I believe in the staff we have, and they'll continue to work with him. He's a good player. He's a capable player. Is he a guy that's going to score 40 goals again? Maybe not, but certainly the way he plays, you should be able to project him at 25. And you know what? I'm going to rationalize and say, yeah, that's probably the case. I don't think Kuzmenko is ever going to sniff 39 goals ever again in an NHL season, unless, of course, he becomes the absolute monster that he was in front of the net like he was last year. But again, with all the movement on the Canucks power play, that doesn't really seem like too likely of an option. Either way, asked if the team will be patient with Kuzmenko and let the 27-year-old work his way out of his own problems, Rutherford says we'll keep an open mind. I just don't want to lock ourselves into one answer, but we need to continue to try to help him. The rest of the article talks about some of the same stuff we had said before, Rick Tocchet calling out Kuzmenko for needing to forecheck, how the Elliot Friedman reports came out there and said that the Canucks were listening on offers or entertaining offers, but I have one final dagger to make this argument known and to actually get a glimpse as to what's going on. Here's a post made on the Canucks subreddit 5 hours ago by Camaro Girl 96. Here's a quick update on ANDREI KUZMENKO's status. Now I'm going to refer to the OP on Reddit as a she because their username is Camaro Girl, so I'm going to say she. But what she writes about is how Donnie and Dolly was on live right now. And what Dolly said was that he had spoken to his sources within the Canucks organization as well as with Kuzmenko's agent Dan Milstein. I'm just typing what I remember as it's live so I can't replay it. But Dolly said that teams are calling, but not in a serious way. More of a wait-and-see type of thing. Dolly also said the team would prefer to work with Kuzmenko and get it back on track than to trade him. Milstein told Dolly that he is not worried about the situation. There also was another update from Elliot Friedman saying that this really was just kind of, hey, a regular old chat, not really a super serious trade update in regards to Kuzi. So, with everything that we've heard, Jim Rutherford saying that the Canucks want to take the most helpful kind of approach in making sure that ANDREI KUZMENKO is able to progress and work his way out of this slump. You've got Friedman and Dalibor each saying that the Canucks want to work with him and that the trade calls, it's not really too big of a deal. It's just kind of a check and see kind of thing. Not really the most serious of trade conversations that have happened in the NHL the past little while, which helps a lot of Canucks fans who would rather see the team use this player and help him grow rather than just trade him away because he's making $5.5 million and he's not producing like he was last year. This guy is still talented, and as we had talked about yesterday, a lot of these problems have to do with mindset. The guy is just in a bad state of mind when he's out there on the ice. He's not letting loose. He's holding onto his stick too tight. He's passing when he should be shooting, etc., etc. It's exactly like what Jim Rutherford said. Now, when it comes to the bottom of the lineup appearances, I feel like it's actually kind of appropriate to help him work his way through, especially since if you're playing in a bottom six, these lines are primarily designed to forecheck and to get involved physically and do all that stuff. So for Kuzmenko to be on a line wherein that is the main goal, it should help him more so in adapting to what it is that Tocchet wants him to do when he's playing in the top line. So, harder forechecking, harder this, harder that, whatever. It's going to be tough to dethrone Sam Lafferty right now with the way he's playing, but ANDREI KUZMENKO definitely has the talent to do that. He's just got to really lock things in over the next few weeks here. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below to these conversations about players, Nils Hoglander, ANDREI KUZMENKO. We'll leave a link in the description to the McIntyre piece, the Kierszenblat piece, as well as the Reddit post regarding these players. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.